Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm helping you level up your communication skills. In this episode, we're going to be combining the world of the mind with the mouth in order to understand how to combine the two in order to problem solve better. You ever been part of one of those networking groups where everyone is in a different profession? So when you show up to this networking group, you don't have to compete with everyone. Instead, you just got to show up and you got to represent yourself extremely well. Well, I used to be a part of a networking group like this. And in this group, I was known as the public speaking coach. Well, there were many other professions there. And one particular individual, let's call him Tim. Tim and we built a friendship. And one of these days, Tim gives me a call and he says, "Yo, Armani, you got a quick minute?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Look, this Friday, my wife has to give a speech. But wait, it's not a real speech. She doesn't have to talk in front of people. She just has to talk in front of the laptop. It's one of those Zoom presentations, but she's extremely nervous. I was wondering if you could help me out. Do you mind if I give your number to her and she just gives you a quick call? It'll be quick, I promise." I've known Tim for a while, so I said, "Sure, why not? Give her my number." And in 5 minutes, she gives me a call. And I see what Tim means. This lady is extremely nervous and we start talking. As we start talking, I come to understand that she is extremely prepared in regards to the content. However, she's psychologically nervous because of the people who are going to be attending this Zoom meeting. There's going to be a lot of upper management and she's in charge of leading the presentation. So we talked for a little bit longer and I told her that right before she's about to present on the Zoom call, the day before, just practice smiling. That's all you have to do. A very gentle smile, which allows you to feel relaxed. Something that's effortless. Practice this smile. Now, she was extremely confused. She was like, "The day before the speech, you want me to practice a smile? Why not practice the speech some more?" I said that you have the speech part down perfectly. You just need to work on your emotions. You need to tie in positive emotions to this speech. I didn't know if she was going to listen to me, but that's all I could tell her. Well, a few days goes by. Tim calls me and he says, "Armani, I don't know what you did, but my wife killed that presentation. Killed in a good way. And to express my gratitude to you, I'm going to buy you some lunch. Pick anywhere that you want to go." This was a big mistake on Tim's end because he knows me. He knows that I like spicy food. So I'm going to bring up the Indian spot that just opened up right by my place. And I know Tim doesn't like spicy food. This guy finds ketchup to be tangy. Well, we end up going to this Indian place. And as soon as we are starting to eat, Tim is looking at the food like it's some sort of magic show. If you've ever eaten desi food, Bengali, Indian, Pakistani food, it's very colorful. There's a lot of flavor. And when you look at the food, it actually looks like art. It doesn't just look like regular food. And he's looking at it and he's like, "I don't know if I want to eat this or if I just want to take pictures of it all day." I was like, "It actually does look amazing, doesn't it?" Yes. I wonder who invented this. He used the word invent. He didn't use the word cooked this. He used the word invent. And this was a big lesson for me because when he used the word invent, my mind just warped into thinking that, this is a form of invention, isn't it? So I started to Google what invention means. And it's a very generic definition. It's basically the new way of doing a certain process or a new device. And for the most part, up until my life in this Indian spot, I viewed invention in regards to devices, but not in regards to processes. What does this mean? That means that I viewed the final dish, technically the device, as the invention, but I didn't view the process as the invention. The process of mixing and matching different ingredients, seeing what tasted right, what didn't taste right, abandoning that until the final dish was produced. Why is this important? It's extremely important because it starts to get us to think in a different way. In the Renaissance period, everyone was trying to become a Renaissance man, which basically means that they were trying to become extremely well educated, but not just regular types of educated. They wanted to build with their education. I would say 100 to 150 years ago, it was considered weird not to have an invention under your name. You're considered a loser. You don't have a patent for anything, you're a loser. Well, in regards to our era, I've noticed a remix to this. Because if we're still carrying on the same invention definition, a new device or process, in a situation like this, is a book an invention? Does writing a book allow you to be known as an inventor? Think about that. The reason that we want to think about a question like this is because at this point, problem solving is no longer just work. It's something that is a life philosophy because we have to include the process definition. If we ditch the process definition and we just focus on the devices, then we miss the opportunity to participate in this problem-solving process. How does someone begin the problem-solving mindset? Well, it comes down to collapsing what is a big problem versus what is a little problem. Because plenty of individuals, they will take themselves out of the race where they're like, man, I can't solve no problems. These problems are way too big. And that's their mistake. Not that they're taking themselves out of the race. It's that they're calling a problem big. All problems are problems. And with this mindset, different opportunities that we're not normally viewing as a problem-solving opportunity now becomes a problem-solving opportunity. And just to give you an example, I was at that point recently where my toothpaste was almost done. And it was early in the morning. I didn't want to drive and get a new toothpaste. So I needed to find a way in order to get that last squirt out. This situation is a very small situation when you look about it. I mean, this isn't me solving a world hunger or anything. But remember, we collapsed what is a small problem, what is a big problem. In this situation, this toothpaste right in front of me and how it's not squirting that last bit of paste is a problem. And by viewing it as a problem, that's when the mind naturally started to think clearer. You know what I did? I started to twist from the very bottom, not from the top, because then you don't get enough pressure. I started to twist it from all the way in the bottom, worked up a whole bunch of pressure, which didn't just give me one squirt of paste, it gave me 5 squirts of toothpaste. Because of this situation, there was a problem-solving opportunity that was introduced. All in all, this is a brilliant time, a brilliant era to consistently practice problem-solving skills routinely in an average day. And I would argue that at least 5 opportunities for problem-solving arrives right before your very eyes. From your camera battery dying when you're about to wrap up this video, to the toothpaste, which isn't squirting its final few squirts. And By viewing the process mindset, the devices start to take care of themselves. If you're a YouTuber at this moment, think about different ways that you can use content in a way to generate different processes. After telling Tim's wife about the whole smiling tactic, I started to think that, I should patent this because this is technically a public speaking process. I don't know how the whole process goes in itself, but this was a brilliant problem-solving opportunity. This video does not only apply to inventors, it applies to coaches, it applies to people in certain relationships, people with money problems. Problems find each and every single one of us, but if it's an opportunity to exercise our inner inventor, then we take out a very boring black and white process into something magical, sort of like desi food. If you want more practical insights on how to level up the mind, how to get these processes and communicate it in an easy to understand way, be sure to check out my free daily newsletter, which goes out every single day at 7 p.m. EST. This newsletter covers a lot of cool topics such as creativity, public speaking, storytelling, and much, much more. Level up your capability of problem solving and creativity is in your horizon. Thank you for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.